What's up YouTube? Capital G here, giving you guys a quick market watch update, letting you guys know what the heck is going on in the secondary market. Obviously, when Konami dropped the ban list on April 8th, last Friday, it had a pretty profound impact when it comes to the secondary market. So I just like to inform you guys as to what's going on so you know how to move forward in this, April 11th format that started Monday, so that maybe you can either pick these cards up and, maybe save yourself some money, or more realistically, you may have one of these cards sitting in your binder, not even really thinking that it's worth anything, and you might end up making a little bit of money off of this, getting in while the getting is good, and not missing out on that opportunity to just cash those chips in, maybe sell a card that you're probably not going to use in the future at its peak and just make a little bit of money. Maybe you can buy some other cards or buy something else. So let's start off with Cosmo, because there's a little stuff going on with Cosmo. Now, we know that Cosmo collectively as a whole, the value of the deck definitely dropped. You can damn near say plummeted right after the release of the Gold Series, because it's big guns, the money cards, the cards like Farm Girl, Emergency Teleport, and, I'd be remiss to not mention Dart Destroyer, of course. That card was at one point $150. Those cards all got reprinted. They became much more accessible to the masses. And what we're seeing is, and here's what I think is happening, we're seeing the Cosmo cards from Breaker of Shadows starting to like really go up in value, while the other cards inversely went the other way. I think this is because players who are people who want to play Cosmos this format, they don't have to pick up 3 teleports anymore. They only have to pick up 2, and they don't have to spend that much money on the other cards. So I think it's kind of like artificially inflating these ones. I could be completely wrong on this, but it's like, okay, well, I know that I don't have to spend $150 on 3 Dart Destroyers anymore, so I can spend a little more money on Cosmojo. I can spend a little more money on Tin Can. Now, Cosmojo is one that I personally find weird. I've said this many times. I pulled a Cosmojo at my last regional, and I was just like, yay, Cosmojo, it's a $3 card, yippee. But I mean, it's currently sitting at $26, give or take. And the thing about Cosmojo is, outside of Call of the Haunted and Solemn Strike and maybe a Warning, I don't really think there's anything staple as far as traps go in Cosmos. Like, I don't really consider this a staple card. Sometimes you see Cosmo players running 2 of this, sometimes you see 1, sometimes you see none. It is searchable, but I don't know, you don't really see it as like a staple, at least not in my eyes. So you see, now, a lot of Cosmos and their cards was kind of tied to the ban list. Some people thought that, Cosmos might get hit, so they didn't want to invest in it. I never really thought it was that realistic for Cosmos to get slammed by the ban list. It's a TCG exclusive. Konami has a history of not hitting TCG exclusive decks that hard. Look at Burning Abyss 18 months later. And you look right here, April 8th, this is when the ban list dropped. It was a $14 card, and bam, I mean, it just jumped like the very next day, April 9th. You see the card pretty much doubles. People are like, damn, okay, Cosmos is going to be one of the top 3 decks. Gotta pick these up immediately. It's a secret rare, so it's not the easiest thing in the world to pull. So yeah, the card, again, back in January, it was like a $2 card. Nobody really even wanted it, but how things change. Tin Can, same kind of thing going on. Tin Can wasn't really worth a lot when it first came out. I think it was like $4 card, $5 card at its low, actually lower than really low. But you saw Tin Can just basically on a continual incline. It just seems like the card price has just gone up and up and up. And ever since this card has been released, just because of the synergy with Call of the Haunted and being able to get your Dart Destroyers in the graveyard, you just see the card price go up and up. And it was at kind of, like $6 right about the ban list. This is April 7th, and $6, and then bam, ban list drops and it doubles in price. It goes to $14, over double the very next day, because investors, people who are looking to build decks for this format, a lot of the Draco Pile players, they feel confident investing in Cosmo. They know that it's already tier 1. They know that new cards are coming out in Shiny Victories. The deck can really just it can only get better, and the deck didn't get hit, so why not invest in these cards? Solemn Strike, I don't know why the history graph is not working on this page. I've refreshed it like 3 times. Solemn Strike is one that was shocking to me. Not because, it's almost a $70 card, and, it's definitely one of the better cards, probably the best trap in all of Yu-Gi-Oh right now. Maybe Solemn Warning is, right there neck and neck with it. And at Solemn Warning's height, in Duelist Revolution, when people realized it was the best card in the set, not Duality, it went to $120. So this one doesn't really shock me. We all know how great this card is. We know it's just amazing amazing. And, you know, I think that it wasn't that expensive. It was kind of trickling down because people thought that it may get semi-limited. I never thought a restriction was like, I never thought that was realistic. I thought a semi-limit could have been possible. I don't think this card will stay at 3 forever, but considering it basically survived the ban list, it is nearly $70. And about 3 weeks ago, 3 to 4 weeks ago, the last time I had really checked it, it was about $50. It was about 48 and some change. So yeah, this card has definitely gone up. And as you see more players run more traps, I mean, this is pretty much the one of the quickest ones that pops into your brain outside of Solemn Warning and Bottomless Trap Hole. Some people like myself even consider those to only be the like 3 premier traps in the game: Solemn, and Bottomless. And half of Bottomless is because you can use it from your deck and whatnot. Allure of Darkness. Now, this one might just be because a little bit of, you know, nostalgia, because it's at 2 and it hasn't been at 2 since basically like when Phantom Darkness came out. Was it like 2008, like Dad Return and whatnot? Because this got hit on the emergency list when Dad Return got wrecked and DMOC and Dimension Fusion got taken out of the game. But the ultra rare copies are extremely expensive. If you got those ultras from Phantom Darkness, I felt like I actually gave away some of these for free, because I had these for my like Black Wings way upon a time and like ultra rare. But if you have Allure of Darknesses from Phantom Darkness, it's definitely looking good. And we're seeing a lot of dark decks are just seeing a lot of play right now. You know, obviously the Phantom Knights, people are talking about maybe running these and Burning Abyss. It just makes your deck so much faster. You know, if there are other dark decks, a lot of them might want to run this. If DDD, you know, like the Pendulum Domination ever comes out, that could be a deck that could essentially, you know, easily throw in some copies of Allure. So, you know, maybe not the other rarities, but the ultra rare copy is definitely, like, this is extremely high. It's never going to get back to the days of Phantom Darkness where it was a $40 card, but, you know, this is definitely a peak that the card has not seen in a very long time. Thousand Eyes Restrict. So this was one of 2 cards that came off the ban list, the other one being Dark Magician of Chaos, and there's a little bit of a hype train right now. I said in my ban list video that I was going to pick up a copy for $5, or excuse me, I said I was going to pick up my copy, and I did, and it cost me $5. So on April 8th, I'm pretty sure if I go to this timeline, that this card, because I bought the cheapest copy, it was damaged, but whatever. It was $4.99. You see that it is over doubled. In fact, all of the versions of Thousand Eyes Restrict, the cheapest you can find on here is pretty much $9. And the problem is, it's very difficult because this Thousand Eyes Restrict hasn't been reprinted in a very long time. It's very difficult to find like a mint condition Thousand Eyes Restrict because the card has been banned for basically a decade. Like, it didn't get banned after Go format. Like, it's been banned for fucking 10 years. So if you've had a Thousand Eyes Restrict, you really haven't done anything with it for 10 years. So it's an incredibly difficult card to find like in mint condition. If you have like a mint condition one from Pharaoh's Servant, man, you might be fetching like $35 right now. It definitely is something to keep your eyes on. Speedroid Terratop. All right, we know that there is a lot of buzz around PK Fire. I did not know that there was this much buzz. People are essentially comparing this card to Tour Guide. They're calling it basically, you know, very similar in a deck like PK Fire where you can summon Terratop, then you can get your 3-eyed dice and bam, you've got your instant Dante, and you don't really even need to use your normal summon. So in certain situations, it could be even better. Yeah, Terratop is just a super rare, but it's commanding $15 strong right now, and you just see it going up and up and up and up and up. And you know, it was, again, a lot of this has to do with the ban list. The ban list, you know, it was on April 8th. You see April 8th, it was a $6.50 card. And then people realize, oh, Dante's not going to 1. Bam, just keeps going up and up and up. There may have been a little bit of fear as far as Burning Abyss because of what happened in the OCG. People didn't want to invest in Dante's or a lot of Burning Abyss because, you know, if Dante goes to 1, rest in pepperonis to that deck. You can still play PK Fire, but the Burning Abyss deck would have essentially just been, it would have been somewhat done. So it would have been kind of hard to play it. At least it wouldn't have been anywhere as strong as it is now. All right, the Phantom Knights of Breaksword. This is our card of the video. This Mamma Jamma is $61. I will no longer refer to this card as the Phantom of Breakswords. I will refer to it as the Phantom Knights of Break Your Wallet. This card is wow. I think in my last video, or I think I called this Omega Part 2, and it really is Omega Part 2. It's the best card in Wing Raiders. some people may say that it's, you know, Magnus, but I mean, you gotta make a whole deck around Magnus, and like, you know what I mean? Like it, okay, it's the most conventional, and not just Phantom Knight summon this, but PK Fire summon it. Burning Abyss will generally one run copy. Like anything that can make a rank 3 can pretty much use this, because it's like a baby Scrap Dragon, and it's only available in Secret Rare. This is going to Konami will probably put this in next year's Gold Series and sell out of that. But as of right now, this dude is over $60, which is incredible, because if you look at his chart, when the card came out, it was $15, you know, a couple of months ago, and it has just gone up and 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 up, 40 and 50, and bam, we're sitting at over $60. Ghost Ogre Snow Rabbit. This one's kind of confusing to me. Obviously, the version from Cross Souls, I believe, it nosedived because, you know, it got reprinted in the Gold Series. But when it came out in Gold Series, it really wasn't that expensive. You know, $13 as a low, but it's crept up to about $20. The thing is, I really don't understand this one, because I thought a lot of this was tied to, like, you know, pendulum effects, like being able to pop the monkey board and being able to hit pendulum scales and whatnot. And granted, monkey board didn't get banned like it did in the OCG, but it's like, if Draco Pals is no longer going to be the best deck, then should this card really be going up? I kind of get that it has synergy and PK Fire, because you can teleport it as a level 3 straight from the deck, just like you can the blue layer and whatnot. So there's synergy there. Same thing with Cosmos, but this one's a little strange to me. I mean, if somebody can, I guess it's a really good card, you know what I mean? And it's only been printed twice, so I guess I kind of understand it. And then here's probably the biggest surprise that a lot of people won't even understand. Sky Scourge Norellis, which came out in Force of the Breaker, the Rises set. I think there was 3 Sky Scourges in that one. They were supposed to be basically like, they were supposed to be kind of ripoffs of the old Chaos monsters from Invasion of Chaos, but just much weaker and a lot less practical, to be honest. Well, no, I don't know if that's the right term to use. But anyways, this card's sitting at about $16, and if you look at the years, this has been a $14 card, nothing, because it's never really seen play outside of just gimmicky decks with Phantom of Chaos. But we now have a deck in the meta that can drop this card, and somebody actually made day 2 top 32 with Burning Abyss at YCS Houston, which was you know, over the weekend. Didn't really talk about it because the ban list kind of stole the show from YCS Houston. I don't know why they pretty much did that at the same time, but anyways, this card can actually be dropped. I don't really play Burning Abyss. I don't want to say consistency or inconsistently. I would say with some consistency in Burning Abyss, because we all know the entire deck is Dark Fiends, right? Well, outside of Dante, but they finally have a Light Fairy. They have Lady B. They have you know, they have Beatrice. They have the Queen Bee, and since they go into her pretty much as they go into Dante, once she hits the graveyard, it's pretty easy to drop this card. And then when you drop this card, you could just use it as a beater, but most likely you're going to use it for its effect. You're going to pay that 1,000 life points. You're going to send everything to the graveyard, and then if you have Dante's on the field, they're going to trigger. If you have Seer or Skarm or anything like that, we know Burning Abyss like love to trigger it. Plus you get a free card out of it. So it's kind of like a blowout against decks like Cosmo, against a deck like Monarchs, where the only resource they may have is, okay, maybe they have like a Prime or a Pantheism that hit the graveyard, but it's nothing compared to you being able to get a Skarn, gets a tour guide, get like 2 Dantes or something like that. So it is somewhat of a blowout card. Maybe it's a little gimmicky, but it is what it is. Right now, if you have these guys, I would probably just go ahead and sell them, but I just wanted to let you guys know what exactly is going on, because right now, Breaker, Shadows, Cosmo cards are definitely up. PK Fire as a whole, just the entire, like everything in the deck is just going up seriously high. And of course, Thousand Eyes Restrict. DMOC, by the way, is not really going up that much because there are so many printings of DMOC. DMOC has been printed as rare, common multiple times. So the price of DMOC isn't really that far up, despite the fact that it went from ban to 3, which is still kind of crazy. But let me know what you guys think. Thank you for watching as always.